Okay, cool. So I did one of these videos, I don't know, like 9 or 10 months ago, going through my record slash vinyl collection at the time. And in that time, I'd say my record slash vinyl collection has probably doubled, if not more. So I thought I'd go through and share with you the records I've bought since the last time I did this type of video. And I'm going to start with the most recent one I've bought, probably the one with the most fire artwork. Kanye West Donda. This shit is beautiful. Look at this. Look at this. Look at it's a work of art. All jokes aside, I really do like Donda. It's actually grown on me quite a bit in the last year. The only thing that's annoying about the record version is that the track listing is the deluxe version, and it's basically Donda on shuffle, which is kind of disappointing because I thought the original track list of Donda had quite a coherent narrative and concept to it, and this kind of ruins it, but the plus side is that this has Life of the Party on it. I did spin this whole thing in its entirety as soon as it came. It's very long. It's a quadruple LP. It's the only quadruple LP I have, or I think I will ever own. But because it's plain black, you can see there's hella fingerprints and shit. But yeah, that's the most recent one I've got. Speaking of Kanye, next up I have Kids See Ghosts, but it is the nice fluorescent blue version. Again, I just like it when they put the fucking plastic in, because some of the records that I have don't have this plastic in there, and it's really, really annoying because it gets hella dusty. But yeah, Kids See Ghosts, amazing project. Kind of sad to listen to now, considering the fallout that Kanye and Kanye have had. Doesn't ruin the listening experience to me, however. Yeah, artwork, maybe my favorite Kanye associated artwork. I love what Takashi Murakami did on here. Yeah, fire album. Next up, this is the one I got just before Donda, actually. Kendrick Lamar, Untitled Unmastered. Of course, I'm waiting for Mr. Morale to come out on vinyl, I think in the next month or so. Once again, absolutely amazing artwork from Kendrick. I love this project. I still love it, 6 years later as well. Just, it's kind of mad that Kendrick's Lucy's and B-sides are better than most rappers' best projects. Yeah, Untitled Unmastered, amazing album. I still play it regularly. Another amazing rapper, unfortunately taken far too soon. This is Notorious B.I.G.'s Ready to Die. It's a double grey LP. I got this for pretty cheap, actually. I found it in FOP, which is basically like HMV. It was like 30 quid, and I was like, what the fuck, I have to have this, considering I've seen it go for like 60 or 70 quid. Some of my favourite ever 90s hip-hop tunes on here. Machine Gun Funk, Give Me the Loot. I haven't got a chance to spin this in its entirety just yet. But yeah, Ready to Die, one of the best hip-hop albums ever, one of the best debut hip-hop albums ever. This is an interesting one. I got this for £3. I got this for £3. It's one of the only singles I own. This is Murder Inc. Records, and it's Ashanti Foolish. It has the main version, the instrumental, and the a cappella. There's not much more to say about this. It's actually in surprisingly good condition. Like, the pressing of this, bear in mind it's like 20 years old, sounds better than some of the newer vinyls I have, which is crazy to me. Yeah, this is one of the greatest R&B songs of the 2000s. I don't care. Next up is one of the picks I got from this year's Record Store Day. This is Kauai by Childish Gambino. It did come with, there was three different colored versions. There was blue, yellow, and a mix of blue and yellow. The one I got, which were randomly assorted, is like the bright blue one, which I think looks pretty nice. In all honesty, it's not one of my favorite Gambino projects. Like, I really like Sober. I like the version of 3005 on here. But I had to get it. Another pick I got from Record Store Day, one of my favorite projects of last year, Pink Pantheress, To Hell With Me. Because this is such a short project, it's actually a 45 rather than a 33, and my record player is set to 33, as you would imagine, so I played it at 33 originally, and it was slowed down, and it sounded fucking amazing. Like, half of the times I play this, I play it at 33, and it sounds ridiculous. Yeah, Pink Pantheress, one of my favorite new artists to come out of the last couple of years. I can't wait to see what she does next. This was basically the entire reason I queued up for 2 hours for Record Store Day. Another one I got from Record Store Day is an EP by James Blake. It's James Blake's covers EP. There are versions of songs on here that I kind of prefer to their original. There's a song on here called When We're Older, which is a cover of a Beyonce song from the Lion King album, which I can't remember the name because I always listen to this version. I think it's one of the best cover songs ever made. There's a Billie Eilish cover on here, and there's a Frank Ocean cover of Godspeed, which I believe James Blake was involved in anyway. I think James Blake's version is genuinely almost as good as Frank's. But yeah, I love James Blake. This was actually like £12 or £13 on Record Store Day, and there was very few pressings of this, so I had to get it. Next up is definitely I think my most cherished vinyl. If you offered me 10k to give this to you, I would not give it to you. This is Charlie XCX's Crash, but it's not just any version. This is signed by, I don't know if you can see that, but signed specifically to me, to Marlon. I queued up for about 2 hours to this. I got to meet her. She was super nice. Only got to chat to her for like a minute, but one of my favorite pop albums of this year, actually maybe my favorite pop album of this year, Charlie XCX, one of my favorite artists of all time. I also got her to write Yuck in giant letters because Yuck is a disgusting song. Cheeks. I love the whole, blood crash aesthetic. And also it's a grey pressing as well. This album, I have rinsed it to death. Crash, Charlie XCX, ridiculous album. The fact that it's signed with my name on it. If I die early, bury me with this. I swear on my life. Okay, next up is maybe the most obscure album I have. I don't even know if you can call this an album. So this is Ryoji Ikeda Technicolors. Now, this is one of those things that I don't even know if you can call it music. So basically, in September, I went to one of his exhibitions in London, and it was fucking amazing. The whole exhibition was just about like data and information, and it had these crazy ambient soundtracks as well, which I fell in love with. And this is effectively 30 minutes of different frequencies of static. I wanted to buy it at the time, but I was kind of broke when I went there. And one of my friends got this for me for Christmas, and I was eternally grateful. They got it from Japan, so I know the customs were a bit pricey. I don't know where you can get this from if you wanted to get it. But it's not one I play super often because, again, it's 30 minutes of static. But when I do play it, it's hella relaxing. Next up, again, I got this for £3. One of the legends of music, really. Stevie Wonder Characters. Now, to be honest, this is not one of my favourite Stevie Wonder projects. But again, it was £3. I had to get it. I got it mainly for the fact that it has Skeletons on it, which is one of my favourite Stevie Wonder songs of all time. And it also has that collab with Michael Jackson on it. So Michael Jackson collab, Skeletons, £3. How the fuck can I say no? Next up, one of the best hip-hop producers of all time, Madlib, Sound Ancestors. I got this in like bright, creamy white. It was on sale over Christmas at Rough Trade. I think I literally got it for about £12 or £13, something like that. For me, this is like perfect concentration music. Like if I'm stressing over a game on PS5 or something, I might slap this on and I feel like I have superpowers. But yeah, Madlib. I need more Madlib in my collection, to be honest. One of the greatest hip-hop producers ever. Sounds amazing on vinyl. Now, speaking of one of the greatest hip-hop producers of all time, arguably one even more so than Madlib, arguably, J Dilla's Donuts. Everyone has been raving about this album since the day it dropped, really. I remember the first time I heard this when I was like, maybe like 15 or 16, and it fucking blew my mind. And because, if you're aware of the story of how this album was created, effectively on Dilla's deathbed in his final months, with, his record collection and his MPC, it's kind of fitting that you have to have this on vinyl. If you like collecting vinyls and you like hip-hop, I would say this is maybe the first one you need to get. Next up, man, like, in my opinion, this is one of the most iconic album covers of all time. Lionel Richie, Can't Slow Down. Do you know how hard this album goes? It has some of the best 80s R&B tunes ever. It has All Night Long, Love Will Find a Way, and Hello, of course. And it's just Lionel looking drippy as fuck everywhere. Again, this was £3. How could I not get it? I love this album. Speaking of drippy niggas from the 80s, even more drippy, Alexander O'Neal, self-titled. Oh my god. Do you know what? I'd never even heard of this guy or this album until maybe like 2 or 3 years ago. I just randomly stumbled across one of the tunes from this album on Spotify. I think maybe during lockdown or something, and I was like, who is this guy? The first two songs, A Broken Heart Can Mend and If You Were Here Tonight, absolutely amazing. If you've never heard this album and you like, R&B, 80s pop shit, definitely check this out. This one, I think this is maybe like one of the best bargains I've ever got. This is Chris by Christine and the Queens. So this is it's a double LP, gatefold, with all this like graffiti shit in the middle. I got this. Bear in mind, I've been to places. I've been to FOP and I've been to HMV and I've seen how much it is in there, and it's at least 20 to 25 quid. I got this for £11 from Amazon. I don't know why it was so cheap. It was brand new. Yeah, one of my favourite pop albums of the last like 4 or 5 years. Christine and the Queens for me is one of the most forward-thinking, innovative and unique artists working in pop music today. Of course, has worked several times with Charli XCX. They haven't dropped an album in 4 years. This was 2018, so I'm really, really excited to see what they bring out next. Again, if you like pop music, if you like 80s shit, but like forward-thinking 80s shit, get this. Next up, just one of the greatest hip-hop albums of all time. Not really a debate in my head. Mad Villain, Mad Villainy, aka MF Doom and Madlib. This is, a lot of people's introduction to both artists, and it's very easy to see why. It's probably their most popular project. I think this is still one of the most influential hip-hop albums of the last like 20, 25 years. I think I first heard this when I was like, 14 or 15, because there was this app on Xbox 360 that just shuffled random music, and I was going through and it played me Rap Snitch Conditions from Food, and I was like, again, this was my first introduction to Doom. I thought Mr. Fantastic was Doom. Then I heard Doom spit, and I'm like, who is this guy? Went, searched him up, saw that this was the most popular thing he'd done. I'm like, okay, cool. And even at that young age, I was just like, this is like nothing I've ever heard before. And more than 10 years later, I still feel exactly the same about this album. I think it has aged amazingly. This album cover for me is iconic. Like, it's such a striking image. I was genuinely thinking about getting this tattooed on my body at some point. Another one of my favorite artists of all time. This album came out last year. This is Tyler, the Creator's Call Me If You Get Lost. And on the inside is the album cover from the streaming version. And then that's the back. Tyler, Creator, for me, is just so... Funny enough, this is the only Tyler album I own. And he's literally one of my favorite artists of all time. I don't know why I haven't got Flower Boy, why I haven't got Igor, why haven't I got that fucking Grinch EP? Yeah, I love this album. I saw Tyler perform for the second time about a month ago at Wireless. Of course, he did a load of songs from here. It was a euphoric experience. I cried when he did Earthquake. I lost my voice and I inhaled a shitload of dust when he did New Magic Wand. But yeah, this album came out over a year ago, and the vinyl only came out a couple of months ago. I got this on Record Store Day actually as well. Yeah, it's Tyler, Creator, like one of the most consistent hip hop artists of the last decade. This, in my head, this is a perfect album, an absolute perfect album. This is the deluxe platinum edition of Jessie Ware's What's Your Pleasure. It's got this like reflective aluminium casing. It's the deluxe edition. It's a double LP gatefold. You can see that's my box light. Funnily enough, this is probably the album I play the most on vinyl out of everything. I think the pressing I got sounds fucking amazing. The bass and textures are so deep and thick and heavy. It's the kind of album where you can just zone out and just vibe to it, or you can listen intently because some of the shit in here is so fucking sad and it sounds happy. And of course, this is the deluxe edition, so there are there's 4 additional tracks. 0208 specifically. I don't know why it wasn't on the original version because it's fucking amazing. Okay, the next one is, I think, the only reissue I have. My favorite band of all time, Kid A, Kid Amnesia. The fun thing about this one is you flip it and it's still the right way up. I love it. I can sit here all day just doing this. So this is, Tom York and Stanley Donwood's art is, for me, fucking, it's amazing. This is a triple LP. Of course, you have Kid A, you have Amnesiac, but also you have Kid Amnesia, which is like a B-side collection, like demos and rough ideas. But there's one specific song called How to Disappear into Strings, which is how to disappear completely, but just the strings. And I don't know how you can make one of the saddest songs ever made even sadder, but they somehow do it. But yeah, I got this is a pretty decent price. This was like £40, and bear in mind you get 2 whole albums and an additional disc. I think that's very reasonable. You know, yeah, 2 of the best albums ever made, and just this. I'm such a child, but again, I'm very, very easily entertained. So speaking of amazing bands, this is a band who I'd heard a lot about them last year, never checked them out, and I thought I finally would towards the start of this year, and now they are one of my favorite bands of all time. This is Black Country New Road for the first time. Inside, you get a picture/lyric book. The lyrics are instrumental, absolute heat. Yeah, first time I heard this album, I looked at it, I was like, 6 tracks? What the hell? Like, is this an EP or something? Of course, half of these songs are very lengthy. Sunglasses is almost 10 minutes. There was something about Isaac Wood's songwriting and vocal delivery that immediately stood out to me. It was so, like, raw and unfiltered and like a collage of pop culture and heartbreak and mythology all just meshed into one. All the musicians on here, the string arrangements, the guitarist, the horn work as well is ridiculous. If I had heard this album in 2021 when it came out, it definitely would have been in like my top 3 of the year. I love it so much. So the last record I have here is Black Country New Road's latest album, Ants From Up There, but it's the blue negative version. That's the original one. Amazing. Also, I think in terms of like the discs themselves, I think this is maybe the prettiest I own. It's like blue marble. Let me try and focus this actually. Yeah, look at amazing. And in the insert as well, again, everything is just in negative. Mr. Negative, man like Martin Lee. Yeah, Ants From Up There. Still my favorite album of 2022 so far. Super bittersweet considering, what Isaac Wood has had to do, and he's had to leave the band for personal mental health reasons. It's fully understandable, and, I hope he gets better as soon as possible. But, it just places this whole different context on some of the lyrics of the album. Because I think without that context, the album sounds like it's a pretty sad breakup album. But now, you can apply it to the relationship he has with himself, with his bandmates, and not to detract from everyone else in the band, because everyone else absolutely kills it. The scope is even grander than for the first time. I think the difference between the 2 albums is that this feels more, I'd say maybe more accessible. The structures are maybe more familiar to people that are used to, verse, chorus, verse, bridge structures. But I'd say the songwriting is even more grandiose in scope and concept. Super watertight track list, Chaos Space Marine, Concord, Bread Song, Goodwill Hunting, Where He Inserted the Blade. I genuinely don't think there is a single weak song on this album. But yeah, that is my updated record collection. The rest are here. I'll link to the other video I did a few months ago. I hope there'll be more coming soon. My wish list is in the hundreds, but I do not have the funds to fulfill all my wishes right now. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below which of these records are your favorite. Don't forget to like, subscribe, dong that bell, and I will see you next time.